lo dobbiamo mancare.
就坐下休息可以给，重新整装出发才不是无所谓。那闪闪发亮的时光和蠢蠢欲动的目光，我们习惯了不转过身回头望。这记忆我早已学会的拒绝对错，我的洒脱别轻易不放落寞。再发出心里的苦，和你所有不安顽固一起去飞，加速接触心，再加速一路把不多爱结合。天气长暴风雨，聆听你心中的那一些呼唤，就中超马的冒险，满你好荣幸初次会面，很高兴和你分享这里高空，当旋律歌唱过。爱结合，天气长暴风雨，传递着旋律吧，你心里的最深处，送上最真挚的祝你好荣幸初次听见你美妙悦耳的声线，拉力高空，当旋律唱给我，拥抱着担心永不坠落，一起许下承诺，就让我们放纵心跳来过，向前走你和我。很高兴和你再相见，拉力高空，当旋律歌唱过，就让我们一起许下承诺，向前走你和我。这一路漫长的路途，回忆起你给的祝福，我一个人红着脸哭泣听不懂，有些疲惫，那么就坐下休息可以给，重新整装出发才不是无所谓。那闪闪发亮的时光和蠢蠢欲动的目光，我们习惯了不转过身回头望。这记忆我早已学会的拒绝对错，我的洒脱别轻易不放落寞。再发出心里的苦，和你所有不安顽固一起去飞，加速接触心，再加速一路把不多爱结合。天气长暴风雨， 休息可以给，重新整装出发才不是无所谓。那闪闪发亮的时光和蠢蠢欲动的目光，我们习惯了独占过闪回后望。这几年我早已学会的拒绝面对错，我的洒脱连心也不再落寞。在保持心里的苦和你所有不安，我不一起之后，角色接触心碎加速，义无反顾的爱结合，牵起一场暴风雨，聆听你心中的那一些不慌就中超马的冒险，满面好荣幸初次会面，很高兴和你分享这一个梦，感谢你的唱歌。
See you next time.
Așa, bă, deci am vorbit 3 minute singur. Uh, Așa, ziceam că vreau să văd niște content și voiam să zic că băieții ăștia de la KFC, Afri Cotroceni, sunt chiar băieți, mă. Sunt băieți adevărați. Uh, uh, Așa. Da, că sunt băieți adevărați, mă, că uite, ăștia mi-au pus și suport de la în pungă ca să nu se verse sucul în pungă. Că sunt căcaturile alea de carton care sunt folosite de obicei la comenzi de mai multe sucuri sau mai multe cafele, știți voi despre care vorbesc. Și mi-au dat pai cu aia, mi-au dat pai. Sunt, mamă, de când n-am mai văzut un pai. Deși cu aia mi-au dat pai de plastic. Credeam că ăștia de la KFC au schimbat la paie de... Nu mai știu de ce erau, de fapt. Hârtie? Nu știu că era hârtie. Nu cred că era hârtie. Mă rog, la alte paie. The weirdest cheated speedrun world record. Stresul primește o amenințare. 9.5 stars a full moon night. Going to jail over a PS5 is really smart. Da, sunt de acord, Mutahar. Mutahar e cu D sau cu T? Stresul se enervează și cade de pe scaun. Funny moment. Typing monkey at 500 plus words per minute. Hashtag shorts. Marco Glass Renato. Guana. Stresul este Pikachu. Zetsu attention, low-fi, what does your imagination look like? Bună întrebare. Cum ai putea vizualiza așa ceva? I'm glad I canceled Netflix. Sunt curios ce ai de zis. Dacă e despre... cum se numea, mă... Ăla. Știți despre care vorbesc? Ăla. Ăla cu copii... Căcat. Mă rog. I wore Rock Lee's leg weights for 2 weeks. Did I get faster? Sunt... bă, are 18 minute video. Cred că nu e doar răspunsul nu la care mă aștept. Cred că nu e doar nu răspunsul. Cred că nu e doar nu la care mă aștept răspunsul. Aaaa! Coaie, am uitat să futu-ți morții, mătii. Bă, deci am vorbit singur 3 minute și alte 10 minute le-am petrecut vorbind cu un ecran gol, pentru că voi nu vedeați nimic. Ia-mă nu știu dacă e Terna, dar știu că a pus un video pe Nate Terna. Hai să ne uităm la Insim. Bă, nu știu cât o să-mi ia să mănânc, dar... da. Stresul și-a luat țeapă de placă video. Da, cred că e destul, nu știu dacă durează atât de mult să mănânc. Vai de pula mea. Twister. Cutie de smart menu în care nu e un smart menu. Și punga e goală. Mi-au dat și șervețele, bă, ce băieți. The Coastline Paradox Explained. Nu cred că mă interesează, cred că am terminat, de fapt. Nu știu dacă mai e ceva. Water cooling my invisible PC and other upgrades. Dacă știi că te uiți la un film, înseamnă că este prost. Da, sunt de acord. Ce-i calitatea asta cu aia? Poftim? N-ai cum să fie 720 W? Dar de fapt nici nu știu încât face Badeu stream. Probabil 1080. Superb. A fost Apex? A fost Apex? Da, normal că n-ai overlay-ul pornit Badeu. Da, hai să ne uităm la toate comentariile la 6 digits. Well, it's Badeu. At least I didn't double tap, lol. If Badeu train stream, he would become a demon. Mamă, coaie. When FLFC, Altrus. One try, ok. Badeu chain plus. Based. Cum să-i spui coaie? Based. Coaie, tipul ăsta îl cheamă 4397. Are avatar cu Shige. Și ai un comentariu în care scrie Badeu. Badeu is Badeu, right? Badeu. Badeu, 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 Badeu. It's not Badeu, it's Badeu. Da, corect. Unranked Farmer reminds me of Cookiezi. Literalmente o mapă unranked postată, un score pe o mapă unranked postat. Reminds me of Cookiezi. Cookiezi era singurul om și încă este singurul om care joacă unranked. Chiar dacă nu mai joacă. Vai de pula mea. Not Eterna. Și avem așa. Nu știu pe care o vreau prima. Hai la Santa San. Coai, ce-i skin-ul ăsta? Stai puțin, mă uitam la pai. Ok, omul e mult mai aproape de FC decât credeam. Păi, dar gen... Să-mi spună cineva de unde pula mea a apărut omul ăsta, gen. Dă-te-mi pula mea. Just go faster. Mhm. Da, imaginați-vă cum omul dă de la Everything with Freeze. Da. Abia aștept. Măi, leu, ce-mi plac. De când e ăsta, mă? În 14? Suntem în 16.
So, a new patch just came out. It's probably 0.20... Is it 0.24 or 0.23.2? Anyway, let's read the patch notes and see what we got here. I've not read these before. Hi, YouTube. I hope you're doing well. We're recording this live right now. You'll see this in about an hour or something coming up. Let's see. Fixes. School and prison fixed several lighting and performance issues with the last update. Alright. Tanglewood fixed some kitchen cabinet doors that could still use to glitch on top of the counter. Great. I hate this. It's cheese. It's cheesy. It's dumb. I think there's still some TV counters potentially that could be glitched. I hope that's not the case. Otherwise, I hope it's going to get fixed because it's just dumb. Fixed a bug where lights would flicker when the power was off? No, don't tell me they fixed the board with the Luigi. I think they did that. No, why? That was so fun. I hope they didn't fix that you can turn on the lights with the Luigi board. Because that was really fun. Alright, main menu fixed the missing skybox? The what now? I mean, I know what a skybox is, but I've never... Okay, interesting. Alright, here we go. Changes. The ghost will now search closer to the last known player's location instead of searching far away when it has completely lost the player. Yes, dude. That is exactly what we need. Cause it just freaking ran away. It just like bounced when it missed you. This is great. Fuck yes. Good stuff.
Păi, tipul ăsta e cel mai masochist om pe care l-am văzut în viața mea. Ultima dată l-am văzut pe om cum citea patch-urile de la patch-ul trecut, citea notes-urile de la patch-ul trecut și era ceva gen: da, acum nu mai poți să te ascunzi în niciun locker. Poți, dacă vrei, să ții ușa deschisă cu închisă cu mouse-ul, dar nu mai merge să te ascunzi în lockers sau căcat pe unde te mai ascundeai. Trebuie doar să fie ăla gen basic, pula mea, te ascunzi într-o clasă, într-o cameră, într-o celulă, pe undeva și ții ușa eventual. Și gen, coaie, omul se bucura, omul era ceva gen: mamă, da, fix ce trebuia. Și eu când am auzit patch notes-urile alea, era să mă cac pe mine. Dar hei, uite, în serverul oficial de Phasmophobia este un mod pe nume Irina. Mă întreb dacă... Mamă, dacă chiar e româncă, gen. Ar fi destul de amuzant.
Alright, second. I love the patch frequency, man.
Oh, nu. Nightlight.
This is like the second patch notes video in so short time. Let's go. Alright. Improved how the ghosts open closet and locker doors. I hope they open them more. I hope they open them like bang. That would be sick. I don't know. This is just gonna be a patch notes reading video. We're gonna obviously...
Da. Bine zis.
Test this. But yeah, for now it's just gonna be the reading and the theorizing. Well, just what the wording is. The ghost will now open closet and locker door slightly further. All right, that's what you read. Yeah. Okay, that's exactly what I just said. Great, thank you. You can read my mind. All right, 4. Slightly increase the range of equipment candlelight. This will also fix issues where holding a candle would drop your sanity in some locations. So we now can do a candle on Grafton, Bleasdale, and high school where it was broken before. That's gotta be fun. That opens up new challenge runs. That's great. I like that. All right, 5. Remove the dirty water objective. It will still remain as extra photo evidence. Thank you, DK. Thank you, blessed DK Niner. Thank you so much. That freaking objective can suck a cock. Thank you. That's
Suck
great.
my ass.
This is such a good
base.
patch. Holy shit, wait a minute. Here we go. 6. Lowered the rate the thermometer up, or the thermometer. I don't know why I said that's just a Dutch thing. Its temperature from 1 to 5 seconds? Oh no. Oh, that's a giant nerf. That's a giga nerf. What?
Mamă, coaie,
That is
what?
way too 5 seconds?
Ce pula mea mai e bun termometru atunci?
5? Just imagine walking around the fucking asylum and having to wait at every single door for 5 seconds.
Brano.
What? That's the ginormous L I've ever seen an item take in this game. Alright. Thermo. That's gonna be in the thumbnail. No more thermo. Giga nerf for thermos. Wow. That's insane. Increase the temperatures variation that show on thermometer. Alright, interesting. I wonder what that means. But now we go to new. Alright, so we're gonna summarize this at the end. We're just reading it now. New. Edit a button to add the max amount of each item so you don't have to spam click each item.
Nice.
So people can finally stop asking me how
Some
I
fucking
click so
quality
fast.
of life.
Yes, baby. So that, okay. Well, huh. Alright, so, main changes here. This is, again, a good patch. I don't know about this one. We're gonna have to test this. This is gonna be up to us to test. This looks great. This is the only thing that's like...
Da, mă, bine.
Matei cu 2 euro cu taxe, stresul e cel mai băiat, am luat un PC la 15 milioane când vindea la săraci și încă e casă, mi-a dat și sticker la dator, m-a dus și cu mașina acasă, te pup. What the fuck? Nu știu despre ce... Matei, dacă te mai întreabă cineva ce relații sexuale ai avut cu mine, pardon, relații... Ce relații economice, financiare ai avut cu mine, ce transferuri de-astea, să nu detaliezi, să zici atât. Am luat un calculator de la Stresul și atât, băieți. Nu vezi că se spamează aici în chat? Se spamează aici în chat de 20 de minute. Stresule, o femeie când? Stresule, îți plac fumeile? Stresule, o gagică când? Și vine băiatul ăsta, Matei. Matei, de 12 ani. 2 euro cu taxe. Stresul e cel mai băiat, am luat un PC de la el, 15 milioane, când vindea și la băieții săraci și încă e casă. Mi-a dat și sticker și adaptor, m-a dus și acasă, mi-a pus și mâna pe picior. Stresul, campania Stresul la pârnaie. Stresule, o gagică când, o gagică când? Băieți, nu vreți să vă vând eu niște calculatoare de 12 milioane și să vă ajut să vă duc cu Clio acasă?
Adevăr.
Eu cred că ești homosexual, eu cred că sunt homosexual cu tactul. Ești născut din 2 bărbați cu ele. Coaie. Deci, nu mai spamați că homosexual nu e o jignire, coaie. Ăsta este un stream politically corect, frate. Nu vrem să ne pronunțăm cu privire la homosexuali, lesbieni, albi, negri, ca să nu zicem doar negri, și la femei târâturi pe interes care conduc jeepuri. Dacă așa.
Asta e bel? Da. Da, e bel. Da, alb închis, nu negru. Nu, stai că asta e muzică, nu merge.
In late April of 2019, the Global Speedrun Association hosted an event titled PACE 2019. This live, in-person event featured the finale of the organization's 3 speedrunning leagues for Super Mario 64, Super Mario Odyssey, and Celeste. The top 4 players of these online leagues would battle for the greatest shares of the tournament's prize pools. Today, we're going to look at the Celeste League, which featured a $5,000 developer-sponsored prize pool. The 4 Celeste speedrunners who qualified for the event were TGH, Fledervi, Chai Kitty, and myself. All 4 of these runners were potential world record contenders, so the competition would be incredibly tight. A week prior to PACE, TGH had claimed the world record with a time of 27:50, and the pressure was on the other runners to match similar times, in person and in front of a live audience. Thankfully, all of the other runners would deliver. The 4-day event would feature some incredible races, but the PACE 2019 $5,000 Celeste tournament would only be the second most notable thing in Celeste speedrunning history that weekend. Even though the first, second, third, and fifth place Celeste Any% speedrunners were away competing at Xanadu Games, a very peculiar image was circulating amongst the Celeste speedrunning community. A final time of 27 minutes and 43 seconds. This would be a world record time by almost 7 seconds.
Hai mă, coaie, dă-o în pula mea de treabă. Tot ce vreau să mă uit la un video în pace. Nu știu unde am.
27 minutes and 43 seconds. 7 seconds. We already know it wasn't one of the top 4 runners who got this record, so who achieved this incredible feat? You might think it would be the 4th place speedrunner, Nero X2, but that is not the case. In fact, the speedrunner who performed this run had no submitted time on the leaderboards. His name is Phoenix 4K, and he is a really interesting speedrunner. While it has exploded in popularity in recent years, speedrunning is still a relatively niche hobby. As a result, tightly knit communities develop around it. Speedrunners often participate in their games' communities, sharing their progress and broadcasting their runs. Some do this to grow a community and possibly become famous, but most just want to submit runs and share their accomplishments with their friends. However, Phoenix was different. Phoenix would rarely share his personal best times. When he did upload his personal best runs on the speedrun.com leaderboards, he would frequently remove his submissions later, as when he deemed a personal best unsatisfactory, he would delete it from the leaderboards. While Phoenix did stream runs on Twitch, the majority of his best Celeste achievements were accomplished offline. So for most speedrunners and viewers, Phoenix 4K was not a well-known name, and he definitely was not in the conversation as a Celeste Any% world record contender. The only exception was a small group of top runners who Phoenix communicated with regularly. Many of these runners were aware of his runs and great skill at Celeste, as he had claimed to have unrecorded chapter world records, and many did not doubt these claims. From the snippets of Phoenix's gameplay that he did upload, his talent and dedication to the game was very evident. Many people in this group of top runners were aware that Phoenix was doing a massive offline grind in the month of April. His goal? The Celeste Any% world record. This would obviously be quite a feat, as the top Celeste runs are incredibly competitive, so the odds were certainly stacked against Phoenix. Well, on April 28, 2019, Phoenix would shatter his goal, as he achieved a time of 27:43, which was submitted to the leaderboards and promptly verified. Phoenix was the Celeste Any% world record holder. A world record is obviously an incredible achievement, and usually it is an accomplishment that the runner is proud of. It's kind of like a virtual trophy that's displayed for everyone else to see. But Phoenix's run was really, really weird. Visually, the run featured a picture of a large green bird in the bottom right corner, with the accompanying text, "Long live Archie." The run also had no timer. Usually speedrunners use a program called LiveSplit to time their speedruns. That wasn't present at all, and Celeste's in-game timer was also turned off. This was actually fine for leaderboards at the time. There was no rule stating you needed to have a timer on, as the game would still show you your final in-game time after completing the game. However, it was still weird, as almost no runners ran like this. Other than that, it was just a really fast Celeste speedrun. The audible portion of the speedrun was even more bizarre. The game audio was completely muted, and in its place was a variety of Grant McDonald's Ram Ranch music. I'm not going to play this music at all here, since it is incredibly inappropriate, but you might recognize this music series for its iconic line of 18 naked cowboys. If you know this song, you know how out of place it would be for a world record speedrun. Of course, this speedrun was uploaded to YouTube, but with this weird speedrun comes a weird title, as instead of naming it something like Celeste Any Percent Speedrun in 2743, it was instead called Celeste 2 Berries World Record. Phoenix categorized this speedrun not by its impressive feat in the any percent category, but rather by the fact that it collects 2 optional collectibles. Just for the record, 2 berries is obviously not a category that Celeste speedrunners attempt to run. Needless to say, this is not a speedrun that would go in a virtual trophy case. To the average person, it appeared that Phoenix was not at all proud of this speedrun. Because of the oddities surrounding this run, and the general community's lack of familiarity with Phoenix as a top runner, some community members decided to further investigate the run's legitimacy. And after less than 24 hours of investigation, it was concluded that this run was illegitimate. So, how did they arrive at this conclusion? Well, Celeste has collectible red berries. There are 175 of them in total, and while there are categories that collect these berries, the popular any percent category does not require any of these berries to be collected. We usually coincidentally get at least 2 berries due to speed strats, one in the Celestial Resort and one in the Summit, but other than that, these collectibles are ignored in the speedrun. However, for casual players, they can pick and choose what berries they collect, and the game helps them track their progress, because if they pause the game, at the bottom of the screen there will be a berry indicator. There is a gray notch if a particular berry has not been collected yet. If the berry gets collected while the player is still in the level, the notch will be replaced with a red circle, indicating that the berry has been collected. If the player were
Wow.
to exit the level and then re-enter from level select, the berry notch becomes a blue circle, indicating that the berry has already been collected in a previous session. In a speedrun, the runner will pause frequently in order to skip cutscenes. Specifically, at the very end of most chapters, the berry indicator will be visible as the player skips the final cutscene of the chapter. And for Phoenix's run, at the last chapter of the game, the Summit, there was something interesting. Did you see that? Let me
Nope.
pause it for you.
No one with that.
There are actually 2 discrepancies here. First, there's a blue circle on a completely random berry. Not only is this a berry that Phoenix didn't collect in the video, but it is also highlighted blue, which means that it was collected in a previous session. And secondly, the berry that Phoenix did collect in the Summit should be marked with a red circle, as it is on legitimate speedruns. However, even though the video shows Phoenix collecting this berry, there is still a gray notch in place of where the red circle should be. This leads us to believe that this speedrun is spliced. A splice is when a runner edits multiple speedruns together in order to remove mistakes and create a near-perfect speedrun. Now, editing a run together isn't inherently cheating. Many of my favorite speedruns are segmented runs, which are literally spliced runs that show off speedrun strategies that would be very hard to achieve under normal circumstances. However, submitting a speedrun like this to a leaderboard and trying to pass it off as a normal speedrun is unacceptable. Speedrunners will attempt the same speedrun for countless hours just to find mistakes in the last stretch of the run. This is a frustrating but normal part of the process for world record perfection. Editing your way around these mistakes might create an easier avenue for a satisfying end product, but it destroys fair competition in the process. Splicing is one of the most common forms of cheating across almost all speedrunning games, and it is possibly the worst thing that a speedrunner can do. Given these discrepancies in Phoenix's video, the only logical conclusion is that this speedrun is spliced. The footage we see at the start of the summit has to be a different run from the footage we see at the end of the summit, as otherwise these berry counts would line up. And after even more investigation, moderators noticed something else very strange about the run. Remember how there was a giant green bird in the bottom right corner of Phoenix's screen?
Da.
Believe it or not, this bird was complicit in Phoenix's cheating scheme.
Acolo va live
Normally,
split-ul.
when you unlock a new checkpoint for the
Ah.
first time, a save icon is displayed in the bottom right
Mamă.
corner, showing the player that their save file has been updated. However, this only happens if this is the player's first time entering the screen. If a runner were to be splicing a speedrun together, and they were on a save file where they had already beaten the level, this save icon would not be displayed. The fact that this portion of the screen was covered leads us to believe that this save icon did not appear when it should have at points in Phoenix's run. This was not hard proof like the berries, but it was incredibly compelling evidence that this run was beyond suspicious.
Nu poți numi evidence.
One day
firewall.
after the run was verified, moderators officially announced that this speedrun was illegitimate. This was confirmed later when Phoenix would admit to splicing. As a result, the run was removed from the leaderboards, and Phoenix was given a 6-month leaderboard ban. Even when this ban was removed, Phoenix's runs would be dealt with extra scrutiny, requiring the in-game timer, audio, and for their run to be verified by multiple moderators. Because of this fake run briefly slipping onto the leaderboards, some new rules were introduced that applied to all new speedruns. An in-game timer was required to be on screen at all times, and the bottom right corner of the screen could not be obstructed, so the save icon would always be visible. 99% of Celeste speedruns already followed these rules, so adding these was more of a formality over anything else. Later on, Phoenix would achieve a legitimate, verifiable 2749. Even though his ban has been lifted for many months now, Phoenix has not submitted this run, and it is unknown whether he has intentions to publicly return to Celeste speedrunning. Phoenix was undoubtedly a skilled
Oh.
speedrunner, but this event essentially ended
Deci nu mi-a
his
zis nimeni.
career as a Celeste speedrunner, and unlike an actual
Până și
Phoenix,
chestiile
he would stay dormant
foarte
and
puțin
rest in
picante.
the ashes of his
Nu merg
cheated
cu alcoolul.
speedrun. Thanks for watching.
Da, cu plăcere, ce pot spune.
Hello,
Yes,
guys and
Mudahar.
gals, me Mudahar, and ladies and gentlemen, I am glad to have canceled my Netflix subscription.
Oh.
Now, this is about the movie Cuties, but full
Cuties,
understanding,
așa
I
se
didn't
numea
cancel
coaie.
my Netflix subscription because of Cuties, right? I actually canceled it because Netflix decided to cancel Altered Carbon. Look, I knew the second season wasn't exactly the greatest. You know, a lot of people weren't, experiencing joy, but I loved that first season so much, and it burns me that we'll never get Altered Carbon Season 3. I hope somebody else buys it, but that's a whole different situation. Now, that being said, Cuties is finally upon us. This is the controversial movie that we all pretty much got, broken up by because, to be honest with you, it was pretty much, pedophile bait. It was effectively, something for the maps, which, let's be real, are pedophiles. Let's call a spade a spade. It is what it is. And it was a movie that disgusted a lot of people, rightfully so. Now, initially, when I covered it, I thought I was very fair and balanced. I wasn't a reactionary to it. I actually said, listen, as disgusting as Netflix's marketing campaign is, I'm going to believe that this movie has a much more nuanced message, which it does, but let's get into why that exactly isn't the best. That all being said, this movie is still fairly disgusting. So we'll just cover everything out real quick. First off, let's go to part 1, which is the reviews of Cuties. Now, of course, Cuties has a 90% on the tomato meter, which
Stai, nu, alea clar sunt cumpărate, cum adică?
is the reviews of Cuties. Now, of course, Cuties has a 90% on the tomato meter, which means that there's a lot of critics that were like, oh shit, this is really good. This is Cuties is a nuanced and gripping, a powerful and meritorious drama that doesn't deserve the type of ignorant condemnation it's endured. Oh, We'll get to that decider. Now, there's a 5% audience review score. You might say that, oh, this is just the audience, downvoting it like crazy. I'd actually say that it's upvoted like crazy, at least for user reviews. Now, this is the Cuties like Metascore for critics. There's been like 4, 60, 50 reviews. A lot of them have been fairly, positive. The user reviews have been interesting. There's Rezunoit writes, the movie is entirely pedophilia. Don't listen to the positive reviews. In fact, anyone who leaves a positive review on this movie should be reported to the FBI. Yeah, there's a white van outside my house. Now, there's a lot of positive reviews, which is, okay. As, of course, you can see, some of them are by actual normal individuals. Film amazing. I want a sequel of Reunion. Sorry, gotta go to the FBI is at my door. Haha, iFunny watermark. You have these totally legitimate names like Deneb had. Yeah, that's totally a real account, by the way. I bet it wasn't made 4 hours ago. Why this film is good is because the story is smartly blended with growing up in today's society with social hierarchy, and I look at today's oppression with sense of style and comedy. And then you've got I love it, lol. It's so funny, sad, and heartwarming. Truly love it to death, literary. I think this person had a I think this person had an actual stroke, so I don't want to, rip on them too hard, because I feel like at the moment of talking about them, they might actually be dead or in the hospital with, severe mental loss of memory. So I'm just going to move past this and get into the movie. Now, there's been an entire thread that's sort of been floating around. Full disclosure, I haven't watched this movie. I don't have a Netflix subscription. However, there's a great content creator on YouTube called Diesel Patches, one that I respect wholesale. If you haven't watched this content, you kind of owe it to yourself to watch him. He made a 3-minute, 40-second review of this movie where he actually watched it and said that the movie, while it had an interesting B-plot, and it definitely is nuanced. Let me just tell you real quick. Cuties pretty much has a plot that tells you, listen, sexualizing young girls is bad. All right, in the movie, the main character, meets up with a group that they call themselves the Cuties, or the Mignons, as they like to say it in France. This group pretty much joins a dance competition. They twerk. It's very hypersexualized. And towards the end of the movie, they realize that this path that the girls went down by hypersexualizing herself in this dance group, and then also, taking photos of herself and posting them online, getting into the social media game, has ultimately been destructive, and she's only done this because she's fallen down the rabbit hole of basically being an impressionable young girl and watching what her other peers have done. Basically, she's looked at a bunch of sexual TikToks and social media videos and pretty much has copied them and tried to fit in with that. Because she comes from an oppressive background in a home, a Muslim conservative home where this type of action is very repressed, it turns out the movie's nuanced take is both sides are wrong. This oppression pushing young children towards this is bad, and young children following social media and ending up doing this is also pretty fucking bad. It's a coming-of-age story that has a nuanced take. But if the message is sexualizing young girls is bad, can I just fucking say how stupid of a message that, you don't need to tell the audience that's bad. We fucking know it's bad. If you don't know
de la asta porni
sexualizing
toată lumea când i-a făcut review bombă în pula mea. Cum adică?
young girls is bad, then I'm sure the FBI needs to fucking come to your house, right? I'm just gonna put it out it's kind of like having a movie that says killing is bad as one.
Băi, astea nu sunt aliniate. Băgați-i pula. Fix aici scrie Bex în mijlocul, cred că e fix în mijlocul câului, da, uite pe aici, pe la această cheiță, logo-ul. Și dacă te duci în sus, ia uite mă nene mă, cât de strâm poate să fie, bă ce nesimțire mă. Și pe partea asta e altă cheie gen. Și dacă te duci din mijlocul acestei chei în sus, ia uite mă nene mă, ce nesimțire, băgați-i pula.
The main characters bludgeons a dude with a sledgehammer. Look, us in the audience know it's bad. We don't need the graphic imagery to know it's bad. We don't need you to film snuff porn to make us think that this is bad. We know it's bad. Trust me.
Ce? Dar nu e snuff. Snuff-ul nu e altceva? Da, cu aia era vorba că omori pe cineva. Um, a term that is used to describe an underworld black market movie that portrays a violent murder scene. Except in snuff films, the actors are real people and the victim of the murder scene is actually killed on film. Asta e patra definiție deja. Prima definiție este 1. Verb. To kill, assassinate, destroy, murder. 2. Adjective. Adjective. A real, not staged, filmed murder, usually of raping and killing a woman. In some cases it is viewed for sexual arousal. Așa știam și eu. Deci cum e asta snuff?
We get it. I understand you want to provide a nuanced take, but let me just cover a couple things that I've seen, okay? For instance, one of the scenes that I saw in these Twitter threads that were posted, again, these were out of context, but just to give you a bit of context from what I've seen, the 2-3 minute scenes that I had seen, one of them was the cuties were trying to sneak into a dance recital or a dance competition, the audition, so to speak, and security guards stopped them because they're kind of like coming in illegally, they're breaking in. So one of the girls pretty much tries to make it look like she's being groped or groomed or like attacked by one of these guards, and then the main character starts like twerking, and the security guards are like, "Oh shit, dude, this is a pedophile's golden ticket. Let's just fall down to sure, go on ahead, girls. You've totally seduced us at 13 years old." By the way, the actresses for the movie are 13 in a TVMA movie, which means they can't even watch their own fucking movie. The second scene that I've seen was one where the main character was like hard twerking practice. She was in like Twerk Zone City, and the Islamic call to prayer, like Allahu Akbar, was playing in the background as she was twerking. So it's, I don't know if it's like heavy-handed juxtaposition, but the mom and like the aunt walk in and they're like, "What the fuck?" So it's obviously a lot of the scenes they're very heavily done. They're hypersexualized, and every surrounding character is like, this is pretty fucking bad for the most part. The third scene was the infamous like dance scene where you saw them in like their really scantily clad clothing from the poster. That
yes.
Again, I'm not going to show you anything hardcore aside from a still or two, just to put in context of what I've seen.
Nu, nici nu vreau să îmi aveți nimic. Muta, morți, veniți, coaie. Sigur trebuie să fie pe undeva. Căcat. E T! Știam eu că e T. Da, Muta, chiar puteai să nu mi-aveți absolut nimic, nici măcar aveți stiluri care nu sunt hardcore, după cum spui tu. Gen, puteai efectiv să nu mi-aveți nimic. Puteai doar să vorbești și eram destul de dezgustat.
Can be used for sexual gratification.
Money can be used for goods and services, that's correct.
Or at least the most I can do to help. This scene was hard to watch because these girls were just getting into this hardcore twerk sexualized routine, and the audience members in the movie were like, "What the fuck are we looking at?" So clearly, you know, the movie is trying to the movie is pointing all this out as bad. But like I said earlier, you don't have to fucking you don't have to, if your whole goal is let's not sexualize young children, and then 50% of your movie's execution is therefore sexualizing young children, aren't you basically committing a level of hypocrisy that you...
Da, mai bine doi făceați un documentar despre cum sunt marginalizați alți copii sau despre cum sunt copiii din ziua de azi influențați de social media, care era și ideea filmului vostru de fapt, doar că executată extraordinar de prost. Pula mea, efectiv, puteți să faceți orice, dar nu ce ați făcut.
You preach against, like, what the fuck? I don't get it. What? All right. Now, there was one more scene that I saw, which was genuinely disturbing. It was the one where the main character was I guess her cousin or like her brother or something or someone in the family was basically like going up to her and asking her why she was like dressing in a scantily clad way, and she starts like taking her clothes off like really slowly. It's very unnerving. She grabs her like relative's phone and runs into the bathroom and locks herself. She then undresses herself from the waist down. You don't see anything, thank God. She takes a photo of you know what and uploads it online and then passes the phone back. Like, it's, I don't know what the context was, but whatever it was truly an uncomfortable scene to watch. And I mean, regardless, if the whole message is this is bad, we get it, it's fucking bad. You don't have to like film it to tell us it's fucking bad. You know, at the end of the day, you have to understand, I think Jeffrey Epstein was reanimated in order to film this fucking, like, movie, like, help with the direction a little bit. It definitely has, like, you know, if the whole goal is to not normalize this shit, you basically created an hour-and-a-half movie that you know there's gonna be some weird dudes on Netflix just, like, there's gonna be some weirdos watching this shit, let me tell you. And I almost feel in some way this movie is like a weird FBI, like, honeypot thing where they're using AI to trace who pauses where and who does what, and you're going to see a lot of people busted. If that's the case, this might be one of the most elaborate honeypot plans I've ever seen. There was one article that I wanted to see from the New Yorker. Cuties, the extraordinary Netflix debut that became the target of a... What? You don't have to make that shit political, dude. I'm pretty sure every side of the political spectrum and group considers this to be pretty bad. You know, most people do not like sexualizing kids. The only people that do are pedophiles. All right, let's just be fucking real here.
Da, dar let's also be real again. Majoritatea pedofililor cred că sunt left-wing. Nu știu cum să zic. Chiar așa cred. Pentru că Maps o să creadă, adică îți dai seama că o să fie de acord cu partea care crede în egalitate pentru toți și căcaturi de genul ăla. Îți dai seama că majoritatea, sigur, sunt de stânga. De stânga, mă rog. Da, stânga, nu, e bine. Mă rog.
I doubt that the scandal mongers, who include some well-known figures of the far right, yeah, who, it's nice to mention that, who, have actually seen Cuties. Some elements of the film that weren't presented in the advertising would surely prove irritating to them. It's the story of a girl's outrage and defiance of a patriarchal order. I think what kind of burns me a lot about this, and I've talked about this a bit on streams and videos, is I genuinely don't like seeing children hurt. I don't think anybody does. And, you know, when I talk about this movie, one of the things that hurts me is that these girls are actually 13. Whether they were educated or whatnot, you still put them, you still film these girls and put them on one of the biggest streaming services of all time, and you still hypersexualize them. So again, your message is a bit hypocritical. That all being said, though, it takes me back to when we made the video on Twitter Maps where I talked about, listen, as much as we genuinely don't agree with them, like everyone in the world probably says, yeah, this is really stupid, we still get to a point where there's a slight bit of it, when it starts to become normalized, when it starts to become slightly accepted, eventually it becomes a part of society later on. I think, like most other creators, like most other content creators out here, most other people, I don't agree with the fact of normalizing like hypersexualizing children in general. That's definitely not okay. And if this is like normalizing pedophilia to an extent, I definitely can never side with that. And if I'm on the wrong side of history, well, fuck it. I guess I'm on the wrongest side of history right there. You ladies and gentlemen, Cuties is one of those movies that's abhorrently fucking...
Bine zis, wrong side of history.
Disgusting in its execution. It has a nuanced message, but the message is really fucking like stupidly obvious. Don't sexualize young girls, okay? There you go.
Wow. Pa, coaie, de unde va venit ideea asta? Pa, wow. Coaie, gândește-te că trăim într-o societate. Trăim într-o societate, coaie. Trăim într-o societate în care este nevoie să spună cineva chestia asta, gen. Mi se pare incredibil. Adică, nu, dacă tu ești un băiat de 13 ani și îți place altă tipă de 13 ani, da, atunci pentru tine probabil adică viziunea ta asupra ei este puțin sexualizată, doar că nu la asta se referă muta aici. If everyone is a pedophile, no one will be. Foarte, foarte adevărat. Foarte adevărat.
You told me once to forget the past, because it doesn't matter. But nothing good came of it. There was no place for me to return to.
Care omul i-a pus filtrul 3D și VHS. Și de ce căcat e...
Came of it.
De ce e
There was no place for me
English
to
dub?
return to. This was the only place I could go. And now you're leaving just like that. Why do you have to go? Where are you going? What are you going to do? Just throw your life away like it was nothing?
I'm not going there to die. I'm going to find out if I'm really alive.
It's all a dream.
Yeah. Just a dream.
Superb.
You said bell peppers and beef.
His name's Asimov Solensen. Are you
Păi cine pula mea se uită la Cowboy Bebop dubbed? Cine se uită la orice dubbed? Ah,
listening to me?
There's no beef in here. So you wouldn't really call it bell peppers and beef.
Yes, I would.
Well, it's not.
It is when you're broke.
classic. Uite-l pe ăsta ce scris aici. Mamă, mâncați aici pula ta. This is great. Cowboy Bebop was something else. It's not even simply an anime to me. I'm sure many can relate, but I remember waking up in the middle of the night at age 12 or 13 and being in a sort of hazy waking moment. Looking at my TV and wondering what I was watching, seeing Spike fall from that church window followed by the explosion and Green Bird playing, I would fall back asleep to this. It was like a recurring dream because Adult Swim would cycle through each episode like this, and for whatever reason, I would come to at this scene and fall back asleep to it. I mean years. To it for, I mean years, honestly. It wasn't until I was about 18 or so that I fully and actively engaged myself to Bebop, and I still watch it and think about it to this day, and it's made such a strange impact on me that I know I will never stop at least thinking about Bebop. The whole longing theme between each and every one of the characters ingrained into the series has translated into my actual life. Very strange, but I will never forget it. There is something about Cowboy Bebop that seems to resonate on a deep existential level with anyone that comes into contact with it. There simply has never been another series in anime to give me such a realized and profound impact pertaining to the way I think about life in general. It sounds so nerdy and ridiculous, and that may very well be, but damn if Bebop didn't have a lasting effect on me. Mamă, coaie, omul și-a scris eseul de bac aici, ești nebun. Uite, vezi, tipul ăsta știe despre ce vorbește. I am in love with an anime that was made 20 years ago. No regrets though. Correct, correct.
Just a humble bounty hunter, man.
Există o electromanea nouă.
Bună seara și bine v-am găsit, vă spune Valigi. O să cânt live așa cum este frumos, împreună cu formația bunului meu prieten Liviu Puștu. La fel cântă și cu aceeași plăcere cu formația mea. Bineînțeles din suflet pentru George, dacă tot am putut să facem un gest frumos, să fie din suflet. Și pentru toți cei care ne urmăresc, toți telespectatorii Mainele TV, și pentru toți care sunt prezenți în seara asta. Valabil și pentru Neacalu și pentru soția lui. Ia-o cu mult ce fel. Și când mi se face dor, pun mâna pe telefon și te sun, mișcă. Eu te iubesc ca un nebun, tu-i fața ca sigare și mă întreb unde ești doar, poate ești fac cineva, miserul pe inima.
Superb, superb. Ce manele să mai facem? Am apăsat pe notificare ca la dublaje. Ai emoții jos chiloții. Snoop Dogg likes that. Nu credeam că există perfecțiunea. Și credeam că ziua asta nu poate fi mai bună. Da, n-a fost cea mai bună manea tech, totuși. Cred că am ratat una, dacă nu mă înșel, nu știu. Da.
Îmi e atât de bine când te am lângă mine și când te simt departe, nimic nu ne desparte. Îmi e atât de bine când te am lângă mine și când te simt departe, nimic nu ne desparte. să mor de dor. Fără tine nu îmi e ușor.
E full?
Și cât sunt de necăjit, plânge inima mea. De o clipă nu te ia, iubito în preajma mea. Îmi e atât de bine când te am lângă mine. Și când te simt departe, nimic nu ne desparte. Îmi e atât de bine când te am lângă mine. Și când te simt departe, nimic nu ne desparte.
Propun să facem o petiție ca omul ăsta să fie la Untold și Neversea. Mamă. Să vezi ce se unesc. Coaie, uite ce taguri ai, ești nebun. Manele electro, manele, manele techno, manele, manele DNB, manele trap, manele remix, remix manele, Florin Salam remix, Florin Salam DNB, Florin Salam trap, Adrian Minune remix, Guță remix, Adrian Minune techno, Tech, Florin Salam, Tech manele, Chef de Chef remix, manele la festival, festival manele, DJ Sebi, îmi e atât de bine, trap manele, Zani, Alex Velea, Fake-urile, Țanca Uraganu, Theo Rose, Ionuț Dima, Fake Uber, Dima Fake Uber, Costi, Forță, Jador, Jador Colinde. Coaie, poftim? Ce pula mea e în regulă cu voi? Unele n-au nicio treabă cu ce se întâmplă oriunde. Dar da, omul ăsta să fie la Untold și Neversea. Singura scenă care unește Cocalarii și cine mai am? Cocalarii și încă cineva. O colindă nu bagi? Aoleu. Ok. Băi, m-am cam plictisit și sunt destul de obosit că a fost la Paranghelia seara. Așa. Da. A fost la Bairam și sunt destul de obosit, aș vrea să mă pun în pat. Dar dacă merge totul conform planului, o să fac live și mâine. Sperăm. Așa că, da, eu mă duc să mă pun în pat. Vă pup. Mi-a părut bine. Ne vedem data viitoare, că niciodată nu se știe exact când o să fie aia. Da. Noapte bună, băieți și fete. Despre ce vorbesc? Noapte bună, băieți. Da. Vă pup.